Welcome to the Chill Stoic, the place where we discover how ancient wisdom can powerfully shape our modern lives. I'm your host, and if you've ever felt that frustrating sting of disrespect, that subtle jab, that dismissive tone, or the feeling that your boundaries are just optional, then this episode is for you. We've all been there, right? That moment when someone pushes too far, and you wonder, should I just smile and let it go? Not today, not ever again. If you're tired of tolerating those who undervalue you, this is your turning point. Today, I'm sharing honest, actionable, and perhaps even a bit bold strategies to handle disrespect without losing your cool, and crucially, without sacrificing an ounce of your self-respect. Get ready, because by the end of this, you'll have the tools you need to set clear boundaries and show everyone exactly where the line is drawn. Let's dive into becoming truly unshakable. Part 1. Embrace the silent stare. The power of unspoken authority. Have you ever truly tried the power of a silent stare? It sounds almost too simple, but believe me, this is one of my all-time favorite techniques when someone acts rude or disrespectful. Nothing makes them more unsettled than a calm, steady, silent gaze. People who try to provoke others are often looking for a reaction. They want you to stammer, get flustered, or try to fight back so they can pull you into their drama. But when you simply look at them, quietly, without expression, the power dynamic shifts instantly. You might be wondering, just a look? Let me tell you about a time when this approach worked like magic. I was at a family gathering where one relative kept criticizing everything, from the food and decor to everyone's stories. When he made a particularly disrespectful comment about me, I didn't argue or react. I simply looked at him, silent and expressionless. He began to fumble, grew visibly uncomfortable, and eventually stopped talking. For the rest of the event, he didn't bother anyone. That silent stare was more effective than any words could have been. It didn't just stop his behavior immediately, but he actually treated me with more respect afterward, as if he finally understood that I wasn't someone he could easily dismiss. Sometimes, the strongest way to protect yourself is to say nothing at all. When you meet someone's gaze with that steady, silent look, you're sending a clear message without uttering a word. I'm not playing your game. You're not being drawn into their fight, but asserting your right to peace and dignity. When someone disrespects us, the natural response is to defend ourselves, to explain, or worse, to let it slide, to avoid making a scene. But the silent gaze isn't about being aggressive. It's about showing that you won't be pulled into their negativity. People who make a habit of disrespecting others often do it thoughtlessly, without ever being truly confronted. But when you look at them with a steady, silent gaze, you're like a mirror reflecting back their actions. This powerful reflection often disarms them, as they're confronted with their own behavior rather than your emotional reaction. The magic of the silent stare isn't just in stopping their behavior. It also strengthens your own self-respect. Standing there, still and composed, reminds you that their words or actions can't shake you. This inner strength is a cornerstone of Stoicism philosophy. I used to be the type of person who would laugh off rude comments or try to explain myself when questioned, but honestly, that only drained my energy. Learning to simply look at someone and let the silence fill the space without budging was a game changer. It feels like a small act of defiance, a quiet but powerful statement of self-respect. So if someone is rude, crosses a line, or tries to make you feel lesser, try the silent stare. Just look at them, letting them feel the weight of your calm. You'll be surprised at how unsettled it makes them and how empowered it makes you feel. The silent stare says, I respect myself too much to be dragged into your negativity. And that's a message well worth sending. This proactive stance is a core element of Stoicism philosophy. Part 2. Embrace silence as your answer, the unyielding power of non-engagement. Have you ever realized that silence can be an incredibly powerful weapon when someone disrespects you? Sometimes, the strongest response is no response at all. I know you might think that staying silent seems passive, as if you're letting them get away with it. But the truth is, silence is anything but weak. It's a choice, a powerful one. When you choose not to engage in someone else's negativity, you force them to sit alone with their own actions, and that silence speaks volumes. People who disrespect others often expect a reaction. They're looking for an argument, a defense, or even just some hint of confusion to validate themselves. But silence says, "I'm not giving you my energy." By not reacting, you keep control of the conversation, showing them, "I'm not here to entertain your disrespect." Sometimes the most impactful communication is non-communication. It's a subtle reminder that they're not worth your time or your words. I once had a friend who couldn't resist making little jokes that crossed the line. You know, the kind of person who masks their insults as humor, thinking it's harmless fun. One day, he made an unnecessary remark about my personal life, something clearly meant to rile me up. Normally, I'd try to explain myself or maybe even fire back. But this time, I just looked at him. I raised my eyebrows and said nothing. I left his words hanging in the air, forcing him to sit with the awkward silence. He didn't know what to do. He glanced away, mumbled something, and quickly changed the subject. After that, he stopped pulling me into that nonsense altogether, as if he'd realized I wasn't someone he could easily throw off balance. That silent look did more than words ever could. It shut down his behavior and showed him that I wasn't playing along. Choosing silence when faced with disrespect strips that negativity of the attention it craves. This aligns with the Stoicism philosophy of focusing on what's within your control. Here's the deeper message. When you choose silence, you're choosing yourself. You're saying, "I value my peace more than I value your opinion of me." And that's not just empowering, it's transformative. We so often feel the pressure to respond, to explain, to defend our choices to people who frankly don't respect us. But by staying silent, you're refusing to play by their rules. You're holding your ground without lifting a finger. You're showing them that they're not worth your words. It's not just about controlling the situation. It's about reclaiming your energy. Silence becomes a filter, keeping your peace intact while blocking out the negativity others try to throw your way. The moment you stop feeling the need to respond to every rude comment, every passive-aggressive criticism, you free yourself. You stop letting people access your inner world and you start living life on your own terms. This concept is central to Stoicism philosophy. I'll be honest, learning to embrace silence wasn't easy for me at first. I used to think that if I didn't stand up for myself, I'd look weak or passive. But I started noticing something interesting. Every time I replied to those who didn't respect me, I ended up feeling drained. But when I stayed silent, letting their comments pass by like white noise, I realized that I felt lighter, stronger, more in control, like I was reclaiming a part of myself each time I chose silence over reaction. So here's my challenge to you. The next time someone disrespects you, stop. Take a deep breath, look them in the eye, and say nothing. Let your silence speak. You might be surprised by how uncomfortable it makes them, and how liberated it makes you feel. Consider silence your answer, because sometimes saying nothing is the loudest statement you can make. This is a profound lesson in Stoicism philosophy. Part 3. Stop explaining your choices, your life, your truth. Have you ever noticed that every time you make a personal decision, there's always someone who wants to know why? Why did you choose that? Why didn't you go to that event? Why did you leave that stable job? It seems many people feel entitled to know the reasons behind every decision you make. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation about how you live your life. That choice is yours alone, and you don't need to justify it. This might sound a bit against the grain, but let's be honest. When someone questions your decisions, they usually don't genuinely want to understand. They want to judge. They want to pressure you into rethinking or doubting yourself, or simply feel better about their own choices by making you second-guess yours. You don't have to play along. When you stop explaining yourself, you regain control, showing them that your life isn't open for debate or evaluation. Why do people feel entitled to explanations in the first place? Often it's because your decisions challenged their view of the world. Maybe you're taking risks they're too scared to try, or perhaps you're stepping out of a comfort zone they find reassuring. But just because your independence makes them uncomfortable doesn't mean you need to ease their discomfort. Your life isn't a public service announcement, and you don't owe anyone explanations for your choices. This is a foundational principle in Stoicism philosophy. I remember when I decided to change careers, leaving a stable job for something I was passionate about, even though it came with greater risks. People reacted as if I'd announced I was moving to Mars. Everyone asked, why give up a stable job? At first, I tried to explain about my passion and my plans, but the more I explained, the more people questioned and made me doubt myself. Then one day, when someone asked, I simply replied, because I want to. No details, no explanation, and let me tell you, it felt amazing. The silence that followed was everything. People didn't know how to respond because I had taken away their right to question my choices. And you know what? Eventually, they stopped asking. This is the beauty of not explaining yourself. It sets you free. When you stand firm in your truth, knowing that your decisions are valid simply because you made them, you stop wasting energy on explanations and start putting that energy into truly living the life you want. There's a deeper lesson here. Your life doesn't need audience approval. Not every decision has to be analyzed or approved by others. And when you stop explaining yourself, you're telling everyone, I'm confident enough in my choices that I don't need your approval. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone truly confident breaking down their decisions for others? Probably never. Because those who master their own lives don't seek outside validation. They know the only approval that matters is their own. This insight is deeply rooted in Stoicism philosophy. I've been there. I used to give everyone a whole PowerPoint on why I was doing something just to get their support. But over time, I realized that explaining to everyone only made me doubt my choices. So, I set a policy with myself. If someone asked me about a decision, I'd give a short answer, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. If they pushed further, I'd smile and move on. And you know what? Life became so much lighter. The more I stopped explaining, the more confident I became in my choices. So here's my challenge to you. Next time someone questions your choice, resist the urge to explain. Just say, because I want to, or it's the right choice for me, and let the silence speak for itself. Watch how powerful that simple statement can be. You'll feel stronger, more in control, and more at peace with yourself. And the best part, you'll realize that your choices don't need anyone else's approval. They hold value simply because you made them. Before we move on to the next powerful solution, If you're liking the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Chill Stoic channel with the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you enjoy this kind of content as much as I do, comment "Love this wisdom." Let's keep learning. Part 4. Keep your distance. Protecting your inner sanctuary. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, some people simply disregard your worth and personal boundaries? Here's a hard truth. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. If someone continually disrespects you, one of the healthiest choices you can make is to keep your distance. This doesn't mean you harbor hatred or overreact. It means you respect yourself enough to protect your energy and peace. Maintaining distance isn't about being cold or ignoring others. It's about choosing where and how to spend your time and emotional investment. Think of your life as a private club with restricted access. Not everyone gets a VIP pass. If someone repeatedly crosses boundaries, making you feel exhausted or uneasy, why keep them close? Creating distance gives you the clarity to see things as they are, unclouded by emotional manipulation or guilt. Consider this: when you let those who disrespect you stay in your orbit, it's like inviting them to an emotional buffet where they can criticize, judge, and diminish you. And we often wonder why we feel drained, anxious, or disappointed in ourselves. Giving yourself space from these people is an act of self-protection. It's about safeguarding your mental well-being, preserving your peace, and making room for those who genuinely respect and uplift you. This concept is a practical application of Stoicism philosophy. I remember having a friend who never missed a chance to throw in a snide comment about my choices, my career, my relationships, even my taste in music. At first, I told myself, maybe it's just their personality. Maybe I'm overreacting. So I kept them close, trying to brush it off, thinking it wasn't that big of a deal. But over time, those small remarks began to weigh on me, and I realized I was walking on eggshells, always bracing myself for the next criticism. Then one day, I tried something different. I didn't make a grand statement or confront them. I just started seeing them less. I'd meet up maybe once a month instead of weekly, and you know what? I felt lighter, freer. With that space, I saw how toxic the friendship had become and realized I deserved friends who built me up instead of tearing me down. Some people might tell you that distancing yourself is selfish. They'll say, but they're family, or you've known them for years. You might feel uneasy, even guilty admitting that someone close to you isn't good for you. Society teaches us to be loyal, forgiving, and kind, but at what cost? Here's a little secret. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. You're not here to be anyone's emotional punching bag or their constant source of validation. Sometimes the best way to show someone you've had enough is simply to take a step back. Here's the deeper truth. Distancing yourself is a powerful reminder that you are your own priority. You don't have to play the role others assign to you, and you don't owe anyone access to your mind, time, or emotions. When you put space between yourself and those who don't respect you, you're making a declaration that your well-being comes first. And it's not just about self-care. Creating respectful distance also gives you a chance to refocus on the relationships that truly matter, the ones that lift you up. Think about it. The more time you spend with people who respect you, the more confident and fulfilled you feel. The less time you spend with those who bring you down, the less space they have to affect your thoughts, mood, and life. I used to feel very guilty about distancing myself from people who weren't kind to me, wondering if maybe I was overreacting. But over time, I realized that creating distance isn't just about keeping negativity at bay, it's about creating space for growth. This echoes the Stoicism philosophy of prioritizing your inner citadel. So here's my challenge for you. Think about the people in your life who consistently disrespect you, who make you feel small or drained. Then ask yourself if they truly deserve as much access to you as they currently have. This deliberate assessment is a key part of Stoicism philosophy. Part 5. Hold your head high. The unbreakable posture of self-worth. Have you ever felt like someone was deliberately trying to make you feel small, as if they enjoyed belittling you? In those moments, you might have heard the classic advice, hold your head high. This may sound simple, even cliched, but in reality, it's a powerful tool when dealing with people who lack respect. When someone disrespects you, they're often looking to see you lower yourself, to make you question your own worth. They want you to bow your head, to step back. But when you stand tall and hold your head high, you're sending a silent message that says, I know my value, and nothing you do will diminish it. The power of this gesture lies in confidence. Confidence can make others uncomfortable, especially those who habitually put others down. They rely on the idea that their words or actions can control you, can make you waver. But when you refuse to let their disrespect affect you, when you walk tall and self-assured, you're showing them that they don't hold that power. You're unbreakable, and that throws them off balance, making them question their own power rather than yours. This demonstrates the core of Stoicism philosophy in action. I remember once dealing with someone who seemed to take pleasure in throwing digs my way whenever we met. You know the type. Always smirking, always with a joke that feels more like an attack. At first I tried to brush it off, but honestly, it bothered me every time I was around them. I felt like I had to put up a shield to protect myself. Then one day I decided I was done feeling small. I walked in head high, and each time they made a snide remark, I just looked at them, smiled, and continued as if nothing had happened. The incredible thing was that they started to back off. They could sense that their words no longer reached me, that I'd risen above it all, and their power began to fade. There's something magnetic about holding your head high. It's like an invisible wall, a psychological shield that only you can create. People who don't respect you tend to dislike this because it disrupts their worldview. They want to believe they can dominate you, that they somehow own a part of you. When you walk with confidence, it shatters their script, breaks down the narrative they've created. Sometimes this may make you a target, but remember that holding your head high isn't for them, it's for you. It's an expression of self-respect, a way of living with confidence in your own worth without needing anyone else's validation. Holding your head high is also a profound message of self-respect. It says, no matter what you say or do, I still see myself as deserving of respect. This unwavering self-worth is a cornerstone of Stoicism philosophy. Self-worth isn't something you wait for others to grant you, it's something you give yourself. You live as if you already have everything you need, because the truth is, you do. Holding your head high reminds you that you are the main character in your own story, that no one else's opinion has the right to make you feel less. Initially, this wasn't easy for me. I used to bow my head, avoid eye contact, shrinking myself to avoid being hurt when faced with criticism. But over time, I realized that every time I held my head high, every time I refused to let someone's negativity seep into my soul, I felt stronger. It was a reminder to myself that my worth doesn't rely on anyone's approval. I could stand tall and proud of who I am. Holding your head high is not just about physical posture, it's about mental posture too. When you walk into a room, do it as if you belong there. Don't shrink yourself to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. If someone throws a nasty comment your way, let it pass. They're not seeing the real you. They're just projecting their own insecurities onto you. This understanding is a vital part of Stoicism philosophy. So the next time you face disrespect, take a deep breath, straighten your shoulders, Hold your head high and look them in the eye, as if to say, "I see you, but I'm above this." You'll feel a surge of confidence, a sense of peace in knowing their words have no power over you. Remember, respect starts with you. The more you respect yourself, the less room there is for others' disrespect to cling to you. Stand tall, embrace your worth, and know that you're worthy of every ounce of confidence. So now you know a few powerful ways to handle those who can't see your value. Life is too short to twist yourself to fit into the views of people who don't appreciate your worth. Remember, you don't need anyone's permission to stand tall, protect your peace, and live life on your own terms. Thank you so much for watching. If you found something valuable in this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content on taking control of your life and building the confidence to thrive. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who might need a reminder to stand strong. And hey, leave a comment below if you have a story about handling disrespect or setting boundaries. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and remember that respect starts with you.